Currently, right now in the studio, I have Mr. Peter Anosike. Mr. Peter Anosike is a political, national, and social affairs commentator, of course, an economic strategist, and one of the best-selling author of the books in Africa. Mr. Peter Anosike, good afternoon, and thank you for joining me on the World News at 12.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Peter, before I proceed with my question, I want us to take a listen briefly to what Julius Abure said yesterday, along with some national executive members of his faction of the Labour Party. Let's quickly take a brief listen to him.
Categorically, that no governor, no governor that we gave tickets can harass us out of office. No governor, no matter how highly placed, will come and with a fiat dissolve the National Working Committee, dissolve state councils, dissolve local government councils, dissolve world executive, even military governments don't behave that way. And so I must state categorically that mandate that was given to us on March 27th, the leadership of this party, under my leadership, will defend it, and I want to assure you that we will reclaim it and we will be here and produce the next president of Nigeria. And Peter Obi, we have simply said that the doors of the party are open to others, which is democratic. If you look at section 221 and section 222 of the 1999 Constitution, it makes it clear that every political party is open to all Nigerians. The Labour Party Constitution is equally clear that you cannot deprive people who may be interested in running for an elective office in the party. And so what we have done simply is to open the window to accommodate more people. You will agree with me that democracy is about number. The more, the merrier. The more people we have, the better for the party and for even the candidates themselves. Because if you emerge from a competitive process, it gives you more confidence and it shows that you are the best. And Labour Party have always maintained that why APC and PDP have failed is because they suppress competition and skew their primaries towards one individual. And we feel that since our party is different, we should not be seen in behaving in the same way. And that's why we have simply thrown the party open for all and sundry. Yes, as for this meeting, yes, they were all invited for the meeting. It is one thing to invite people for the meeting, it's for another thing for them to attend the meeting. So I must make it clear that they were all invited for the meeting. All those that were supposed to be here are here, and you will agree with me that we have formed quorum in this meeting. Of course. All members of the National Working Committee are here, except for two that have an assignment outside Nigeria. State chairmen are here, state secretaries are here, other stakeholders are equally here. And so the meeting is well constituted, and quorum for any meeting as per the provision of the Constitution is 1/3 of those who are supposed to be present in that meeting. And so we are very comfortable with this meeting, and we are even more than 2/3 in attendance.
Now, Mr. Peter Anosike, I'm sure you heard extensively what Julius Abure said there. Literally, what he said yesterday, and I'm quoting him, "Let me be clear. This action was not just illegal, it was a betrayal of everything the Labour Party stands for, a reward for loyalty with ingratitude, a reward for support with insubordination." According to him, he went further that the consequences of the actions taken by Peter Obi and Alex Otti will not only affect the future of the party, but the future of those who want to run elections under the platform. And that Peter Obi, of course he was referring to him, they seek to tear the party apart with backroom deals and illegal meetings, which they will not allow henceforth. And he said that, according to him, he said Nigerians are watching and they will not be silent. Concerning the campaign funds, he alleged that Doyin Okupe and Akin Oshintoku, those were the members responsible for the campaign funds, and that they're the ones that are meant to be asked questions as to where those money went and what they did with it. Peter Obi himself was the one who financed his campaign, Aisha Yusufu and the likes. He released some account numbers. All of this transpired yesterday. So this is what critics are saying. That is it that Julius Abure was possibly waiting for Peter Obi to support him, and maybe Peter Obi did not give him that support or what he expected Peter Obi to do, and that's why he's lashing out and saying all that he is saying. He mentioned betrayal. He mentioned the fact that these two individuals intend to tear the party. You heard his order here where he said no individual that they gave a ticket to. In other words, they gave them a ticket on an open platform whereby it was easy for them, and so they cannot decide how the party will go. More than 1/3 of the quorum needed were those that were part of the meeting held yesterday. So where does that place the 29-member committee that was set up by Peter Obi and, of course, Alex Oti?
Well, to start with, who is Julius Abure before 2022? That's who is Julius Abure before 2022. So for me, as a journalist for over 30 years, I begin to hear Julius Abure from 2022. So otherwise, he has been that at the backyard. He has been a shoe shiner until Peter Obi brought him in. So he did not do Peter Obi a favor, rather it is Peter Obi that did him a favor. Because apart from Peter Obi, Nigerians would not have heard Julius Abure. That's one thing. Apart from Peter Obi entering Labour Party, Nigerians would not have heard Julius Abure. He was in darkness. He was in the state of unseen before Peter Obi came in. So it is Peter Obi that brought Julius Abure into limelight. It is Peter Obi that made the Nigerians to hear that name Abure for the first time. So it is Peter Obi that did Labour Party a favor. Labour Party did not do Peter Obi a favor.
Mr. Anosike, are we saying now that there is a major faction between in the Labour Party? We have the Peter Obi Labour Party and the Julius Abure Labour Party. Because right now, the leaders of a faction of the Labour Party constituting of Peter Obi and Alex Oti wrote to INEC, right? They're notifying the commission of the appointment of the 29-member caretaker committee for the party led by Nenadi Usman. Now, apparently, the letter was signed by the 2023 presidential candidate and Alex Oti of Abure State, and they're writing ahead of 180 days for INEC to recognize that committee. So what does that mean now? Is there going to be a major polarization of the Labour Party? And as it stands, it seems like there are more enemies generated against Peter Obi within the Labour Party, because Julius Abure has taken a vengeful stance to say, we had promised you that 2027 the ticket will be automatically given to you, but now we want to do a democratic system. Anybody who is interested will have to contest within the party. So where does this place Peter Obi now with his ambition ahead of 2027?
Well, that shows you that politically Julius Abure is a paperweight. Because to start with, you don't reserve tickets for anybody. You don't reserve tickets for anybody. So saying that you have reserved the 2027 presidential ticket for Peter Obi, 2027 governorship candidate for Alex Oti is psychophancy.
It was a non-verbal agreement in terms of the fact that when they were all going ahead to sort out the whole election situation at the tribunal, we recall Julius Abure was always at court, present at court with Peter Obi. So it was obvious. But now you said something. Who knew Julius Abure pre 2022, or who knew him before 2023 presidential election. There's been a heavy decampaigning, all right, on social media against Peter Obi. And right now there are calls that, okay, possibly Peter Obi may have been aware of those who mismanaged the funds. Others in support of Julius Abure were saying that all the while financial mismanagement was thrown at him. Possibly he was collecting the bullet on behalf of Peter Obi when Peter Obi knew the truth. So who do people believe now? Is it about the fact that Abure's tenure has ended? This financial mismanagement, is it true on the aspect of Julius Abure? Because he has mentioned 2 persons who were responsible for organizing or being in charge of those accounts. So where does this place this party now? That's 1. 2, don't you think that Peter Obi should start considering setting up another political party?
Well, to start with, from the beginning, since the dawn of this democracy in 1999, Labour Party has not been a serious party. Labour Party has never, I'm using that word, had never been a serious party until Peter Obi joined them.
If the origin of that party has been unserious, why did Peter Obi join that party?
As a bit, it was in carcass. Peter Obi breathed into it and became a living being. Labour Party was nothing, capital nothing, before Peter Obi joined. So it is Peter Obi that resurrected them. It is Peter Obi that resurrected them. Then for the, I don't know what their constitution says.
Yes.
So if it is constitutional for the governor of the party and the presidential candidate that to write to INEC for them to that they have appointed a national working committee, then let it go. But if it's not, it shouldn't hold water. Understand me? Because I don't know their party constitution. I've never taken them serious. I've never taken them serious. But Abure saying that that Peter Obi betrayed him. Who is Abure?
But let's stay on the facts.
Who is Abure?
Let's stay on the facts beyond. Let's stay on the facts before we start talking about who Abure is or what he is or what he represents. We're talking about a Peter Obi whom a lot of Nigerians actually felt that will be a different talisman in our political landscape.
And he is.
Now,
there's no doubt about it.
The thing now is
he
this.
Is.
What this faction of Julius Abure is trying to say is that anybody is a Peter Obi. It doesn't have to be him as an individual. That the Labour Party represents the interests of the downtrodden Nigerian, and so there are a lot of Peter Obis down there. In the case of Abure, he's saying that Julius Abure Peter Obi took advantage of how the political space was during the campaign in 2023, and that was why a lot of Nigerians backed him up. But that there are similar persons who have his supposed history that can be a Peter Obi, not necessarily him. So the question now is this: if within the Labour Party there is an infighting, persons who used to be close to Peter Obi, who knew him very well, who understands his personality, are now against him, don't you think this would truncate his personality? Once again, would it be bad if Peter Obi sets up an obedient party? Because that's what everybody is asking. Others think that Julius Abure is a mole being sponsored by the opposition political parties. Others feel that the Araban Bees and the Lamidi Akpakpa have actually now connived with Julius Abure. Others feel that Julius Abure thought that maybe if he stays along with Peter Obi, there'll be more beneficial stands for him within the Labour Party. So there is a major polarization in the Labour Party, and it's causing an identification crisis of what Labour Party stands for. Others are mocking the Labour Party, that imagine a party that cannot control itself. How do they think they intend to be a major party that will handle the affairs of the nation? That is
not an issue.
Really? You think it's not an issue?
That's not an issue. That's to start with. Julius Abure began to see money in his pocket from 2022. So he doesn't want to lose that money that's entering his pocket. The issue here is money, because these people have been on the streets, just like area boys, area girls, until Peter Obi came in and Labour Party now become a force. Peter Obi could have done what he did with Labour Party with SDP.
Okay.
He could have done it with AA. He could have done it with AAC, because this is Peter Obi and not about the party. let me give you an instance. The late Ifeanyi Ubah was winning election not because of YPP, but because of himself, Ifeanyi Ubah. So Labour Party should be grateful to Ifeanyi to P2B. And there's nothing that the Abure, the Araban beast can do to P2B's image.
All right.
Because here, there are two things. One is character.
Yes.
The other one is reputation. Character is who you are. Reputation is what people think about you. So well-meaning Nigerians know who P2B is, know his reputation. The charlatans that are making noise, to me, I'm unmoved.
Are we seeing an extinction of the Labour Party? I recall immediately after the presidential election, one of the former aviation ministers made a statement and promised that before 2027, Labour Party will be extinct. Are we beginning to see, with this polarization, balkanization, financial mismanagement accusations, party members turning against themselves, are we seeing an extinction of this party? And if, according to Peter Obi, he was called in to intervene because a lot of Nigerians were saying, Peter Obi, why don't you intervene in the crisis occurring within the party that you represent rather than keeping mute? And he has decided to do so, and now there is a primordial shift. So the question now is, are we seeing an extinction of the Labour Party?
It is very, very possible. It is very, very possible. And once the obedience leave all the party, it will return to where it was before 2022.
Now that Peter Obi has written to INEC to recognize the 29-member executive committee, what would that term? How would they term that group of the Labour Party? Peter Obi, Alex Oti, and the 29-member committee headed by Esther Nadi Usman. These
are the forces in the party, because why every political party struggle to win elections, because parties are funded by the state.
Okay.
So Alex Oti that has no capacity for anything. So the meeting in Abure was attended by the major forces in the party, and that's where the money is. You cannot rule that money in politics.
Do you think INEC will recognize that team? Do you think INEC will recognize that committee?
I don't know, but P2B and the obedience should be thinking of their next move. Because for me, this Labour Party for now is a drawback. And as I said, what P2B used Labour Party to do in 2023, he could have still used the SDP
to do it,
and any other political party to do it.
Okay, so let's also look at the DSS lately on their role. The DSS have been on a steam, rolling on, several persons from Joe Ajaro to Serap. DSS has had to clarify that they're just going through, it was a normal procedure. And we recall yesterday, the deputy director of Serap said that this was what they intended to do. The news that went round yesterday came from what the deputy director of Serap told journalists just yesterday. So the question now is this. Joe Ajaro said his passports were seized. The DSS is continuing with the fact that there is a connection between Joe Ajaro and Andrew Wine. Now, Andrew Wine, recall, has said that if the police wants to question him, he has no issues. He'll make himself available, maybe not physically, but why are they not going through that route? Why going through Joe Ajaro? If the first time they didn't find anything wrong, the second time again, he has been released on bail, they seized his passport. He's been invited back for questioning on the 30th of September. So what is going on?
Well, for me, on a program yesterday, I said that DSS is not helping Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency. DSS is not in any way helping Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Rather, they are demarketing or the presidency.
Are they going on this activity or this process on their own without the authorization of the presidency?
Whatever, I don't see Tinubu telling them to go and pick up Ajero.
Are you sure?
Very, very sure. I don't see Tinubu telling DSS that to go and pick up Ajero.
So you're saying that the DSS is on their own discretion carrying out these activities without any authorization from the presidency?
A lot of the things that they are doing it on their own. They are doing it on their own because, one, with the tension in the country, the country is in a tensive mood. It is only somebody who is not sensitive that want to be adding petrol to fire.
If that is the case, I was saying the president doesn't know right now that this is the recent activity of the DSS and possibly call them to order, because the Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, has actually said that the agencies, the security agencies, should not go about arresting unless they have done proper investigations on these persons. So, and the question now is, if they can accelerate their process, where is Yahaya Bello? Where is the other INEC individual who kind of tried to balkanize the governorship elections in Adamawa State? Where are they? Where are these individuals who have serious cases with the EFCC and would not seen an accelerated process to apprehend them? So is justice reserved for a few, but justice is prevailed on most?
For what I am saying is that DSS is not helping the Tinubu administration, because what they have done now is to make Abure a hero. What they've done now is to make Abure more popular than he was yesterday. Abure is now becoming the Nelson Mandela of our time. This is a guy who fought and won a new minimum wage for the Nigerian workers. This is a guy who is now going detention for the Nigerian workers. So DSS is demarketing this administration, because I said it yesterday that if they fail to release Abure, that by this morning NLC will down tools, because you cannot be working for the people that put your president in detention. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
So then they seem to wisdom by setting him free. Understand?
Okay.
But for the Serap, they stormed Serap office. That's not how to do a routine check. If you are going on a routine check, you let those people know I'm coming. I'm coming. Then what if you go there and you don't meet anybody there? So what they did is their usual unintelligent moves. What they did is just their usual unintelligent moves. But they should be cautioned that Nigeria don't need this escalation of tension anymore.
Because it's become something else. I mean, even those whom they were supposed to accelerate justice on, they have not done that.
Turuji, it has in Zamfara there is still walking free
and boasting.
They've not gone to pick him.
All right, Mr. Peter Onosike, thank you so much for taking your time to respond to some of these questions. We sincerely do appreciate your input on the World News at 12. All right, you just finished listening to the analysis segment. The news analysis segment is basically where we get to enlighten you further on some of the stories that you heard me read out on the World News at 12, so we have a better comprehension of these stories that we read out here. To wrap up here again are the top stories. DSS releases NLC President Joe Ajaero on bail. DSS clarifies visit to Serap office, denies raid allegations. Peter Obi slams federal government for charging peaceful protesters with treason. Peter Obi, Governor Oti, write INEC to recognize the Nadi-led caretaker committee. And Peter Obi questions Julius Abure's intentions amid Labour Party crisis. That's a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Esther Mwachuku. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Up next is Area Matter with Alaji.